What's going on, guys? My name is Eric, and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, I really haven't done much kind of right back here. I'm starting to get this kind of coming around. I got some hardwood floor, which my buddy gave to me for free. I got like 400 square feet of hardwood floor, which we're going to put in here. I want to kind of make this a mudroom, and this kind of door, which, whoops, right over here, this door kind of sitting right here, is pretty much going to be the entranceway. Now, this door right over here is still going to be an entranceway, but I'm going to make this one over here the primary. This is going to be a later on style of video. So if you guys are kind of interested in somebody who's trying to do home repairs or trying to do home improvements and doesn't really know much about home improvements, and I'll get into it in the next video here when we start doing this stuff, you're probably going to get a bunch of laughs, and you're probably going to say, Eric, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong. So stick around with that. That's probably going to be coming in later into the channel. But today, guys, I kind of want to talk about the Detroit Lions. And as you can tell, I kind of got my Detroit Lions kind of beanie hat on here, which I got for Christmas. I really like this hat. It's warm, especially with a couple of cold days up here in Michigan. Kept my head really warm. This is a nice, very, very much a durable stocking cap here. I really like it. Thanks to, I'll use his first name, thanks to Matt for giving this to me for a Christmas present. He's not a subscriber or anything, kind of my girlfriend's son-in-law. So I really do like this. I like this a lot. Let me know what you guys think of this cap up here. If you might have one, let me know. Is it warm? Is it not warm? Kind of get your kind of thoughts and opinions on here. But I really like this hat. So anyway, let's kind of get into the news of the day here, guys. I'll timestamp all this stuff for you. So the Lions have been pretty active in free agency. And I got a card right down here. You're going to kind of see my eyes kind of drop down here to read this card. The Lions have been active in free agency. Now, most of the transactions that they have, I've liked. Two of the or more or less the signings. Two of the signings I'm really not big on, and that's Anzalone contract and the Montgomery contract. Now, I'm not saying those two players are bad or anything like that. It's just the contract length. And well, with the Anzalone one, I kind of feel like they could have gotten better with the personnel that they've gotten. A linebacker, to me, is one of the weakest parts of the team, and I think the offensive line is kind of getting to, I don't want to say they're the weakest line, but with Big V and Okwara, I think those two guys, I think Okwara is on, goodness, I've been out kind of too long here, guys, to know what positions that they play, and I probably really should have done some more research than I did on here. But Okwara and Big V, especially with his back, his spine injury that he has. I don't know if it's a spinal injury or if it's a vertebrae injury, but anyway, even if it's on his back, any kind of where near the spine, I just don't think as a football player, or a football club like the Lions, you don't want to have that person coming back. Now, I'm not saying that he can't perform or do anything like that. It's just a liability of him kind of being on the field and possibly injuring his back worse, or God forbid, paralyzation. I don't want to see that for any ball player. We've seen that with Mike Utley. That was the most sickening thing I've ever seen. If you guys can go back that far like I can, you do not want to see that for any football player. So I think Okwara and Big V are gone. So anyway, kind of getting into the contracts here. David Montgomery, I think he's a damn good football player, but the 3 years, $18 million, I've said it before in the last video, you kind of don't pay for running backs. And a lot of you guys in the last video had said, hey, Eric, you're entitled to your own opinion. They think it's a good contract. I kind of think I don't want to say, and I don't want to dog the Detroit Lions. I think the Detroit Lions are doing good things. It's just that the contract length and the money that they're providing him is something that personally I would not have done. I would have gone out to the draft and maybe drafted somebody in the 3rd to 6th rounds that, and I kind of used some bad words here when I said that they were going to be, you could plug somebody in and get the same or similar production. I don't really think, and now that I'm looking back on that was not what I was trying to go for here. I'm thinking that you should be able to plug somebody in there and they should be able to give you production. Now, is it going to be similar production? Time will tell, I guess, if the Lions go that route. But if you get a really good running back, I don't think Bijan is the type of player that the Lions want or that they need, only because he'll probably be gone in the 1st or 2nd round. The Lions have more needs at that spot. But for the running back position, you should be able to plug somebody in there, and they should be able to produce right away, within training camp. I would say they should be able to produce right then and there. And I think someone in the third round to the sixth round can do that. And there's been countless examples of that. Now I didn't research that, but I'm just kind of going off of some other folks there on the news radio shows and other podcasts to where the third to sixth rounds, and even going back in time, there have been people at the running back position that have produced at those rounds. So saying that the production, we wouldn't get the value of the production, I think is a false statement. It's an expenditure. Running back is an expenditure, and I hate to say that for anyone who's a running back within the NFL league, but in today's NFL right now, the era that we're in, it's just an expenditure right now, and I don't think the Lions really should have spent $6 million on a quarterback, on a running back. Now, I didn't look at the trade deals or anything like, or the trade deals, the contract extension or anything like that. Those are just my own personal opinions, and that's just how I feel. You guys may out there be very much against it or have different opinions on it, and that's fine. It's just that my own opinion says $6 million a year for a running back is just kind of overpaying on here. Now, they went out to Jamal Williams and gave him a very similar contract. At least that's what we're hearing from news outlets, that happened. And his agent went out and kind of said, hey, let's kind of work the market to kind of see what we can get. And they ended up with a less contract for the Saints for 3 years, $12 million. And I guess the contract was something like I can't remember, something ridiculously low, I want to say. Or I'm remembering it was ridiculously low. So maybe Jamal Williams might have tongue-lashed, at least at the very least, tongue-lashed his agent, saying, what the H are you doing? I signed for less money here because we shopped around, and the Lions already got David Montgomery, and now I'm sitting out here getting less money than what I would have got at Detroit. I would have kind of read him the riot act and possibly even fired him. Because when you're when millions of dollars are on the table and it kind of goes away, I would say it would upset me quite a bit. And I have no speck of athletic talent. I rode the bench when I was in school, high school, trying to do this, playing basketball and baseball. I never played any football, but I can see in any sport that happening. So I kind of want to go off there. I also think, kind of rounding out the running back kind of conversation here, I think DeAndre Swift is likely gone as a Detroit Lion. I think I looked at his cap numbers. I think the dead cap hit was just under $1 million, but the total cap was like $2.5 million, kind of right around there. I would have to bring it back up. Now, I used one of the websites on here that said that. Now, I don't know how the accuracy of that website. All I can tell you is that that's what they reported. At least the website that I looked at is reported. His production has been not what we had expected here when we drafted him here in Detroit. We were expecting him to be the number one running back, kind of what he was at Georgia, and we just haven't got that production out of him. I don't know if his mentality has taken a hit or if a life-changing event has happened and it's affected his play. I just don't know. I honestly don't know what the cause is here, but he's not been what we expected here in Detroit, and I think it's going to be his last year, and we're not going to re-sign him. And we'll shake his hand and say thank you for your service and kind of move on from DeAndre Swift. And I really wanted to see DeAndre Swift be successful here because him out of Georgia, he was just a beast and a well-rounded running back, and we just haven't seen that here in Detroit. So kind of going on to linebacker here, this is kind of another one of the ones here where I was kind of disappointed in. They re-signed, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. If you guys have watched any of my previous sports videos, I kind of hack up names here. Anzalone had 3 years, almost $19 million, $18.75 million. Now, the only reason I'm thinking that I'm going to retract here a little bit and say that this is not a bad signing is because when I reached out and looked up Bobby Wagner on Twitter, he kind of said he wasn't really interested in the Detroit Lions at all. He was more interested in the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, kind of some other folks out there that were needing a linebacker and that were Super Bowl contenders. And Detroit, he didn't seem like Detroit was a destination for him. Now, I'm sure Brad Holmes probably got on the phone and said, hey Bobby, what's your contract number to come to Detroit? I'm sure that conversation happened, and we really haven't heard much of that ever since then. Now, I'm only going off of my own speculations here that at least you picked up the phone and asked Bobby Wagner what it would take, or if he's even interested in coming here. But if that conversation didn't happen, then I'm kind of looking at Brad Holmes, kind of going, why didn't you at least pick up the phone? At least try, at least try to get some of these guys in here. And if we fail, if they don't want to come here, then just say okay, and that's fine. Just you have to make the effort to do that, and I would think Brad that made the effort to do that. But Anzalone 3-year, I think it was kind of the similar thing as not Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, right around $6 million. Maybe it was incentivized here a little bit. Maybe that was the backup plan all along, is to solidify him at the linebacker spot. I think that we still need to go into the draft and grab a linebacker, because I don't like our linebacking core as it is. And I think it's Dave Brooks there. I want to say David Brooks, but I could be wrong. The one rookie linebacker that kind of took his lumps there. I still think he needs kind of massaging and kind of coached and all that sort of stuff to get. And I really think he can be a good linebacker. He's shown flashes as at Elzone. He's shown flashes here too, but I kind of want to see more consistent production at that upper level echelon. And I think Detroit is kind of bet on him to do that with the contract that they gave him. Last year, he only had $2.25 million, and maybe the production that they had on here, they just paid the guy, gave him a nice raise on here. But we're gonna have to go ahead and see here if that is the plan going forward. If Alzone's going to be a linebacker for Detroit for years to come, or if it's the 3 years and he regresses and kind of shipping him out of here. But I do still think that Detroit has to draft a running back. Goodness, Eric, come on. A linebacker in the draft, at least at some point, hopefully in the upper parts here, because our linebackers were just junk. They really couldn't really do anything. Now, in the second half of the season, it looked a little different. But we were still getting gashed, guys. All season long, we were just getting gashed in the defensive side of the ball. We really couldn't do anything to stop the running backs when they handed the ball off. At least to me. Kind of going on to the cornerbacks now. I think this is this is kind of where we shine here. Emmanuel Mosley, kind of on a 1-year, $6 million prove-it deal for us. He comes out of San Francisco. I really do like that signing. Hopefully, I think he had an ACL injury or maybe an MCL injury. I can't remember, but something where he was out the 2022 season, had an injury, and he'll be ready by training camp. I really hope that he can really shine for us and kind of help out maybe even some of the guys that are kind of struggling right now, like Awarie, and who I don't think his production has taken a dive. I really don't know what the Detroit Lions are really going to do with him. Jeff Okudah, I think this is his last year to show us he was worth that number 3 pick from the last regime, which was from the Patricia and Bob Quinn era. I think this is his last stand to show us that, hey, you can be a serviceable or maybe even a good cornerback for us. And also the Sutton deal, man. That, to me, the Sutton deal is a very, very good pickup for Detroit. 3 years, $33 million. I think he's worth it. A lot of people had him up there as one of the top 10 cornerbacks on here. I think that is a really, really good signing. Along with Tracy Walker, those guys can help those younger guys out and kind of maybe as a player kind of tell them to get out and jump their case a little bit and kind of more or less to say you can do this. Just jump their case a little bit and what are you doing kind of stuff, and to praise them when they do stuff right. I think that's what we're looking at with Sutton and Walker. I think Tracy Walker was a great re-signing with him kind of being sitting there back in the safeties trying to tell the cornerbacks where to go and kind of where to set up and what to look for. He has that veteran experience with us, and I think that's why Detroit re-signed him. I don't know what the deal was. I didn't grab that information out, but I do know that they re-signed him. So I think we got better back in the Back in the secondary, I still think we could probably still improve there, with a linebacker. I still think we need a defensive lineman if it's a edge rusher or interior lineman, somewhere around there. I still think we probably need a guard or a center even, maybe Frank Ragnow. I don't want to say a replacement for Frank, but try to get somebody in there that can have similar production or that can kind of maybe slide over into that center position. I still think that it's just that. It's just that here, guys. You got to make sure to consistently improve. A quarterback, I still think, is something on here. Now, do I want to get one of the 5 there? C.J. Stroud comes to us? I don't know. I am still big on Stetson Bennett as the quarterback. I think he has great value, and I didn't put this here on the previous YouTube videos that I had on here. I just think Stetson Bennett is a leader of men. He's a back-to-back national champion at Georgia. He seemed to be able to coordinate the offense very, very well. I think if the Detroit Lions can get him, I would even try to say in the 5th round. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's trying to do anything special or anything like that, or he's going to become the next future quarterback here at the Detroit Lions, but I think he has those intangibles to be that. Stetson Bennett, someone said you can get him in the later rounds. I want to say I think you take a chance at him, maybe in the 4th round, and make sure you get that guy on here. I know he has his DUI stuff now. I think that should be a mulligan for him. He was out celebrating. Yes, he probably shouldn't have been doing a DUI, that's for sure, but maybe kind of say, hey dude, we're going to put this in your contract. If something happens like this again, the team is protected. Just give him the mulligan to say, hey, we're investing in you, but you have to tell us that this isn't going to happen again, and was just a little bit of a blip on the radar, that sort of thing. You guys know when I do my beer stuff that I always say, you're going to get pulled over by the cops, you're going to do the stupid sobriety test that they give you, and all the other bullshit tests that they put in there, and you're going to get nailed for it. You are going to get nailed for it. Hopefully this was just a mulligan for Stetson Bennett. I think he had a DUI. That's why I'm kind of putting it on here. I think he had a DUI. But I would take a chance on him. I think he's a leader of men. We all seen what he did with Georgia in those back-to-back national championships that he had there. I think he would be a superb backup to Jared Goff, and probably could push Jared here too, or even put him, or maybe if Jared doesn't kind of go on here and be like, hey dude, here's the reins, go for it, show us what you can do, kind of stuff here. I think Stetson Bennett would be a awesome pickup for the Detroit Lions. So kind of wrapping it up here, guys. I do like a lot of the signings that Detroit had. It's just the Anzalone trade and the Montgomery trade. To me, those are my own personal opinions. I think the players are okay, especially the Montgomery player, David Montgomery. He's a hell of a running back. I mean, look what he did with the Chicago Bears and that crap offensive line that they have there. Now, they made some moves here too, but I kind of want to say that bringing Montgomery to Detroit is a good thing. I just don't see paying running backs, because their expenditures in today's NFL with a much more pass-first style of offense that a lot of offenses are going, or a lot of teams are going to, and a lot of offenses are going to. But I still think we probably could use some offensive linemen. We could use some defensive linemen. Running back, another running back I think would be good. Later round running back. I don't think we need a cornerback. I think our cornerback stuff has been set. If we do get a cornerback, it's probably going to be into the later rounds. And Stetson Bennett is a quarterback. I really do think that the Detroit Lions should be eyeing him as the backup quarterback to Jared Goff. And potentially, if Jared Goff doesn't work out, you give the reins to Stetson Bennett and tell him, hey, show us what you can do for us. So, guys, let me know what you guys think. Kind of write down there in the comments. We're goodness here. This unedited video, we're into 20 minutes. I'm hoping to kind of bring this down here a little bit for you. I'll put the timelines in here to jump to where you guys kind of know what you guys want to watch, and let me know down in the comments. Am I off base? Am I on base? I know some of the takes that I have with David Montgomery, a lot of people don't like. But again, I just think that you don't pay for quarterbacks. You should be able to go in there, plug somebody in, and get production out of them. Especially with Detroit's offensive line, we should be able to do that. And I think Okwara and Valatai are probably going to be gone just because of their contracts and the injury that he has with his back. That's just too big of a risk for me to want to re-sign him. Even though he was a good player for us, just to me, it's just not something that I would want. But let me kind of know right down there in the comments what you guys think. Also, hit that subscribe button so you kind of get more content like this. I kind of want to come out and do more Detroit Lions videos. We'll talk about the Tigers here, too. It looks like they're going to be another 100-loss team again. But just to kind of see where that team is headed with a new general manager and kind of get his perspective on this. I'm not going to really kind of get an interview or anything like that, but just my thoughts on where the Tigers are going on here. Pistons coverage, Red Wings coverage, probably not going to do that, even though I have been keeping an eye on the Red Wings and what Steve Yzerman has done over there. I think this team is kind of coming around here. It's just that Yzerman just needs time here, guys. So just like he did when he was in Tampa Bay. The guy just needs time. Let's kind of take a step back, and we'll get through it here. Oh, one other thing here on the Pistons before I go here is I hope Dwayne Casey gets fired at the end of the season. The man just has not had any any development of any players on here. I don't know why he wants to play certain people. I've watched a couple of Pistons games. It's mind-boggling to me why he plays the players that he does and doesn't play some other players when trying to get them development, trying to get them experience and things like that. That, to me, is a fireable offense at the end of the season. And it's just mind-boggling to me. The Pistons should not be this bad for this long. So I hope Dwayne Casey is out of here. So, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. If you don't like this video, please give me a reason why you don't like this video. Maybe it's because of my David Montgomery take. I'm bad with names here, guys. And we'll get into why I kind of do all this stuff maybe in a later video. But let me know what you guys think right down there in the comments. All right, guys? All right, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys again soon. Deuces. Take care, guys.